Imagine you're standing in a heavily crowded TSA line. You're sweating slightly. Your flight board's in exactly 22 minutes, and you are awkwardly trying to shield your pajamas and like personal items from the impatient business executives behind you.
Oh, the absolute worst feeling.
Right. While you frantically rip open your main suitcase just to get your laptop out for the scanner, it is a universal blood pressure spiking travel nightmare. And today we are looking at the specific engineering design to ensure you literally never have to do that again.
It's a profoundly relatable scenario, honestly. The entire landscape of travel gear has shifted, from simple storage boxes to hyper-focused problem solving.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to act as your ultimate comparative shopping guide to the 2026 luggage market. Whether you're a frequent flyer racking up miles every single week or a casual vacationer prepping for that one massive summer trip, our goal is to cut through all the marketing jargon.
Because there is a lot of jargon.
So much. We want to help you find the exact right bag for your highly specific needs. Because buying luggage right now, it feels a lot like buying a car.
That is actually a highly accurate way to look at it. You have to consider the chassis, the suspension, the intended use case.
Right. You have your sleek, sporty little coupes designed for quick weekend trips. They look amazing, they're nimble, they corner well in a crowded terminal. And then you have your heavy-duty, family-size minivans built for the long haul, where you just need to cram in as much stuff as humanly possible without the wheels falling off.
Yeah, and honestly, we have to look at how we even got here. It wasn't that long ago that luggage was literally just a box with a handle.
Just dragging a heavy box around.
Exactly. But when airlines started universally charging for checked bags a couple of decades ago, it kicked off this literal arms race in luggage engineering. Consumers were suddenly desperate to avoid fees, and manufacturers had to figure out how to maximize every square millimeter of overhead bin space.
That financial shift in the airline industry completely revolutionized material science in travel gear. Modern luggage is no longer just a container. It's like highly engineered tactical gear.
It really is. And today's deep dive is about breaking down those crucial factors
Yeah.
that separate a frustrating travel experience from a completely seamless one.
Right, so we're going back to the basics of durability metrics, identifying true budget value, looking at very specific business travel features, and importantly, we need to demystify the technical terminology. Because if you haven't bought a suitcase in 10 years, the current engineering specs can read like you're buying a spacecraft.
Oh, absolutely. The terminology gets intense fast.
So to start shopping, we logically have to begin with the piece of luggage that stays closest to us, the one we practically hug as we sprint to the departure gate, the carry-on.
The quintessential travel companion.
Exactly. And looking at the consensus across the industry's top ratings, there is a very specific contender dominating the premium space right now. We are looking at the Monos Carry-On Pro, which comes in right around $295. It is widely heralded as the modern business traveler's absolute dream. But, okay, let's unpack this.
I will always appreciate a terrible luggage pun.
I simply couldn't resist. But seriously, let's unpack the value proposition here because nearly $300 for a carry-on is a serious investment. The main defining feature on this bag is a built-in hard-shell front compartment.
Right.
Now, I understand the desire for organization, but we really have to ask if a front pocket is worth that premium price tag when, most people just shove their laptop into a standard backpack and call it a day.
It's the ultimate question of value, really. And to understand it, we have to look at the concept of travel optimization. For the frequent business flyer, navigating a busy airport terminal isn't just walking. It's a chaotic, high-stress, time-sensitive workflow.
Oh, definitely.
So what the Monos Carry-On Pro represents is friction reduction engineering.
Friction reduction. I like that. It's about removing those micro stressors, like the TSA bin panic we talked about at the top of the show.
Precisely. Because if you only have a traditional clamshell, hardshell carry-on, getting your laptop out requires laying the entire suitcase down on a dirty terminal floor, unzipping the main compartment, and basically exposing everything to the world.
Which nobody wants to do.
No. So what the specialized front compartment does is solve that exact bottleneck. It securely holds a 16-inch laptop and your essential travel documents right on the exterior of the hardshell.
So you just press a button, the compartment pops open vertically while the bag is still standing completely upright. You slide the laptop into the bin and you keep moving. You never expose your clothing.
Exactly. For someone who flies 40 times a year, buying back those seconds of time and reducing that cognitive load is easily worth the investment.
It totally shifts the perspective. You aren't buying a pocket, you're buying a smoother airport experience. But let's look at the actual physical build of this thing, because the terminology here is wild. The specs boast an aerospace-grade polycarbonate shell, which sounds incredibly dramatic.
It does sound like marketing fluff, but the engineering is actually fascinating. Because I think a lot of people assume the goal of a hard shell is to be as rigid as a brick wall.
Right. If you knock on it and it feels solid, it must be good.
It's the most common misconception in luggage buying. Consumers knock on the outside of a shell, and if it flexes, they assume it's cheap or flimsy. But in material science, rigidity is actually the enemy of durability.
Wait, really? Because if something is perfectly rigid and you drop it off a cargo loader onto the tarmac, the kinetic energy has nowhere to go, right?
Yes, exactly. So this shell just shatters.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what used to happen with cheap ABS plastic suitcases back in the day.
Oh, I've had one of those crack down the middle. It's the worst.
Right. So polycarbonate is a specialized thermoplastic polymer. Its defining characteristic is its flexibility under extreme stress. It is engineered to absorb kinetic energy by actively warping and flexing inward upon impact, and then immediately popping back to its original shape.
So it's functioning more like a trampoline and less like a suit of armor?
That is a perfect way to put it. When manufacturers run drop tests, literally dropping fully weighted bags onto concrete from various angles, polycarbonate survives because it distributes the shock.
Yeah.
That is what makes it virtually unbreakable.
That makes total sense. And I assume the same level of granular engineering applies to the whisper quiet wheels on the monos.
Oh, absolutely.
Because anyone who has done the walk of shame to a 6 a.m. early flight knows the sound of cheap, hard plastic wheels clanking and echoing across the terminal tiles. It is mortifying.
They're just announcing your arrival to the entire concourse.
Yes. But the Monos avoids this by using softer polyurethane wheels with precision steel bearings. It's basically a miniaturized version of high-end rollerblade wheels.
Right, so it absorbs the microvibrations of the floor rather than transmitting them. It's a massive upgrade in the tactile feel of the bag.
Okay, so the Monos is an incredible piece of tech for the road warrior. But what if you, the listener, are not optimizing a weekly corporate flight path? What if you just need something for a couple of vacations a year, maybe a trip home for the holidays, and you absolutely do not want to drain your wallet on aerospace materials?
That is a very real demographic.
We have to pivot to the value shopper alternative.
And the good news is that top-tier functional engineering has aggressively trickled down to the budget tier.
We are looking at the Samsonite Freeform carry-on. This is the undisputed champion of the budget category, sitting right around $150.
Half the price of the monos.
Exactly. So what does this all mean? If we are slashing the price tag in half compared to the monos, we have to look at what we are actually sacrificing. Is this like buying a reliable Honda Civic instead of a highly tuned Formula One car, where it lacks the carbon fiber and hyper-specific tuning, but the chassis is rock solid and it will absolutely get you from point A to point B safely?
The Honda Civic analogy is absolutely perfect here. That is the exact trade-off. The core anxiety of budget shopping is the fear that cheaper inevitably means flimsy.
Right. Nobody wants a broken wheel on day 2.
Exactly. But the Samsonite Freeform proves you don't have to compromise on core structural integrity. For the casual vacationer who simply wants a no-nonsense reliable suitcase, this bag over-delivers.
Because you aren't getting the specialized pop-out laptop pocket, and you aren't getting the absolute highest-grade proprietary polycarbonate blend, but you are still getting a lightweight, tough, hard-shell exterior that won't fall apart on trip number 3.
Right. It relies on proven legacy manufacturing. And importantly, it includes essential luggage tech that new travelers absolutely must look for, specifically a TSA-approved lock.
Which we really need to demystify, because I still see people at the airport with those tiny $5 brass padlocks from the hardware store looped through their zippers.
Oh, no.
And every time I see it, I just wince, because they are practically begging to have their bag destroyed.
It is a painful mistake to witness. A TSA-approved lock is not just a standard combination dial. It's a highly specific dual-access mechanism. It has your personal combination, but it also features a specialized keyhole at the bottom, marked with a small red diamond logo.
And that keyhole is strictly for the Transportation Security Administration, because if your checked bag triggers any sort of anomaly on the X-ray scanner behind the scenes, they are legally mandated to open and inspect the contents.
And they will not hesitate to gain entry. The TSA possesses a universal master key for those red diamond locks.
So if you use a hardware store padlock, they will just reach for heavy-duty bolt cutters.
Yes. And if the lock itself resists the bolt cutters, they will literally cut the zipper track or pry the hard shell open with tools, effectively destroying your suitcase in the process.
Which means picking up your bag at the carousel wrapped in industrial tape because it's been ripped open.
A nightmare.
Truly. So knowing that the Samsonite has a TSA lock built right into the shell makes that $150 price tag an even better value. It also features an expansion zipper, which I find endlessly fascinating from a psychological standpoint.
Ah, yes. The psychology of overpacking is a powerful force.
It really is. An expansion zipper is just an extra track of fabric tucked away around the perimeter of the bag. You unzip it, and suddenly your bag has an extra 1.5 inches of depth.
It accommodates human nature so perfectly.
Because I don't care who you are, you somehow always come back from a trip with more volume than you left with. You buy souvenirs, or honestly, more realistically, you just don't fold your dirty clothes with the same military precision on the way home.
Right, you're just tossing things in at that point.
Yeah.
Having that expansion space is a total lifesaver.
It is a critical flexibility feature that acknowledges the reality of travel. You start out organized and you end up surviving. Okay, so we've successfully packed the cabin. We've got the Monos for the premium business flyer and the Samsonite for the value-conscious vacationer. But what happens when you hit the physical limitations of the overhead bin? When you have to relinquish control, hand your bag over to the airline staff, watch it disappear down that rubber conveyor belt, and send it into the absolute abyss of the cargo hold.
Well, then we need to transition to the heavyweights.
Yes.
The checked baggage category is a completely different arena. This is where durability is tested to its absolute brutal limits.
And the current hardside check champion is widely considered to be the Away the Medium. It's priced roughly between $325 and $350. Now, here's where it gets really interesting to me. I was completely geeking out over the internal organization system.
It's very cleverly designed.
It is. The Away bag includes a heavy-duty built-in compression pad that straps down over your clothes to maximize space, plus a hidden water-resistant laundry bag. It basically functions like a tiny portable closet that forces you to be organized.
The internal organization is incredibly elegant, and the compression pad actually helps with weight distribution, which is key. But what's fascinating here is how this bag tackles the external environment. We just talked about the cargo hold. When a bag transitions from a carry-on to a checked bag, it is no longer under your careful, gentle supervision.
No, it is subjected to sheer physical trauma. Baggage handlers throwing it, massive compressive forces from hundreds of other bags stacked on top of it, getting jammed on mechanized conveyor belts, or just sitting out in the freezing rain on the tarmac.
It's a hostile environment. To survive that, Luggage undergoes rigorous tumble testing during the design phase, essentially putting fully weighted bags inside massive metal drums and spinning them for hours.
Just beating them up.
Basically, yeah. The Away shell is specifically engineered with a textured, scuff-resistant finish. Instead of a smooth, glossy surface that shows every single scratch, the microtexture diffuses the visual impact of scuffs and scrapes.
It keeps the structural integrity completely intact while maintaining its aesthetic appeal, which is why it's so highly rated for high-volume travelers.
Exactly. It's built to age gracefully, which is pretty rare for plastic.
But the thing that really caught my eye, and this is a deep dive into technical jargon, is the specific mention of 360-degree Hinomoto spinner wheels. Now, most bags today have spinner wheels, the 4 wheels instead of the old school 2 wheels you pull behind you. But what makes a Hinomoto wheel such a premium selling point? I looked into the physics of this, and it all comes down to weight distribution and friction.
It does. Hinomoto is a highly celebrated legacy manufacturer based in Japan. In the luggage industry, seeing their logo on a wheel housing is basically a guarantee of elite engineering.
And as you mentioned, the physics change dramatically when you're dealing with a fully packed, medium-checked bag. We are talking 40 to 50 pounds of dead, shifting weight.
Right, and pushing a 50-pound box across a rough floor can feel like a full-body workout. Poorly made wheels will stutter, they'll catch on debris, and they transmit every single vibration right at the telescoping handle into your wrist, causing serious fatigue.
Yes, and that is where the Hinomoto engineering shines. They use specialized, highly resilient polyurethane blends for the tread and incredibly precise, sealed internal ball bearings.
Sealing the bearings is crucial.
Right, because it prevents terminal dust, dirt, and stray hair from jamming the mechanism over years of use. This allows them to glide smoothly and silently on practically any surface, absorbing the shock of European cobblestone streets or rough asphalt parking lots. They maintain their 360-degree spin effortlessly, even under maximum load.
It is quite literally high-end independent suspension for your suitcase. That is a fantastic detail to look out for.
Now, while hard shells like the Away bag and the Monos are incredibly popular,
Yeah.
they look sleek, they feel modern, they completely dominate social media, there is a fierce, almost philosophical divide in the travel community.
Ah, yes. The great luggage debate. It is older than the internet.
It really is. You have your hard shell fans, and then you have your soft shell loyalists. And they absolutely do not compromise with one another. So we need to look at the ultimate bag for the soft shell camp.
You do?
The industry standout here is the Travelpro Platinum Elite 29-inch. This is the premium soft side checked luggage coming in between $350 and $400. But I have to play devil's advocate here for
Welcome the pushback. Let's hear it.
We just spent the last 10 minutes talking about aerospace-grade polycarbonate, kinetic energy absorption, and virtually unbreakable shells that survive being thrown around a cargo hold. If modern hard shells are that tough, why on earth would someone pay up to $400 for a bag made of soft fabric? It seems like a massive step backward in material evolution. Aren't you just asking for tears and rips?
It's a very logical pushback on the surface. But if we connect this to the bigger picture of how different demographics actually travel, soft-side bags cater to a very specific and vastly common need, which is maximum exterior volume and accessibility. The Travelpro Platinum Elite is, frankly, the holy grail for overpackers.
The overpackers. The what if it suddenly snows on my tropical beach vacation and I need 3 different sweater options crowd?
Exactly. Hard-shell bags, by their very physical nature, have a fixed, finite volume. A polycarbonate shell will flex inward to absorb a drop, but it will not stretch outward.
Right. It is what it is.
Yeah, if your items do not fit within that fixed perimeter, the zipper simply will not close. A soft-side bag is inherently forgiving.
The fabric has give. You can always squeeze in one more pair of shoes.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Furthermore, soft-side bags offer exceptional organizational pockets on the exterior. You can stash a heavy winter jacket, a book, or last-minute items in deep front pockets without ever having to expose the main interior of the suitcase.
Okay, I totally see the appeal of the stretch and the external pockets, but I'm still hung up on durability. Fabric rips. Zippers burst under tension. But looking at the specs, the Travelpro isn't just made of standard canvas. It's crafted from high-density nylon with leather accents.
Ah.
And when we talk about high-density nylon, we're really talking about the denier rating, right?
Yes, the denier is the key metric here.
Yeah.
It refers to the physical weight and thickness of the individual threads used in the weave.
Right, and ballistic nylon, which is what a lot of these high-end soft bags use, was originally developed during World War II for military flak jackets to protect airmen from shrapnel.
It's incredibly tough stuff.
So this specific high-density nylon is treated to be highly abrasion-resistant and water-repellent. It ensures extreme longevity and tear resistance. Even if the bag gets snagged on a sharp metal corner of a luggage cart, the incredibly tight, heavy weave prevents the fibers from unspooling or ripping any further.
It is a highly technical industrial textile designed specifically for brutal, high-friction environments. It is not going to tear under normal or even extreme travel conditions. And to add to its value, the Travelpro features a built-in suitor, which is a massive draw for business travelers.
I noticed that. And a built-in suitor is basically a specialized compartment within the lid of the luggage that uses a folding board mechanism and specific strapping. It forces you to fold garments like suits, dresses, or formal wear very gently around curved edges, minimizing hard, flat creases and reducing friction against your other clothes.
It's brilliant for formal wear.
For someone flying out to attend a wedding, it keeps everything crisp and wrinkle-free during transit. It completely eliminates the need to frantically search for a hotel ironing board at midnight.
It is a masterclass in garment preservation. And there's one more piece of engineering on the Travelpro that addresses a very specific physical pain point, and that's the wheels.
Yes. The specs boast self-aligning magnetic wheels, and when I first read that, it sounded like pure marketing magic. How does a magnet help me push a suitcase?
It sounds like sci-fi, I know.
Right. But then I thought about the mechanics of a massive 29-inch bag. Spinner wheels are fantastic for maneuvering in tight spaces, like turning sideways down an airplane aisle. But when you are pushing a fully packed 50-pound bag down a mile-long, perfectly straight airport terminal concourse, 4 independent spinner wheels can totally develop a mind of their own.
They absolutely do. Without a locking mechanism, the bag naturally wants to drift diagonally, and you end up constantly twisting your wrist and forearm to fight the momentum and keep it moving forward. It is physically exhausting over long distances.
So the Travelpro solves this by embedding powerful magnets directly within the wheel housing. When you apply forward momentum, the magnets catch and lock the wheels into a perfectly straight alignment.
This was smart.
They stop spinning freely 360 degrees and instead track straight ahead, like a train on rails. You get all the benefits of spinner wheels in tight spaces, but zero wrist strain when walking down long concourses. It is a brilliant integration of physics.
It really transforms a heavy burden into a seamless glide. We have really covered the entire spectrum of travel engineering today, from the agile carry-ons optimized for TSA checkpoints to the massive cargo hold champions built to withstand industrial forces.
We certainly have. So as we bring this deep dive to a close, I want you, the listener, to reflect on your own shopper persona. Which one of these profiles sounds the most like your reality? Are you the tech-heavy, high-frequency flyer who needs that Monos front pocket to buy back seconds of time and breeze through security?
Or maybe the value-conscious, casual vacationer who just needs the reliable, solid chassis of the Samsonite to get the job done?
Or are you the long-haul traveler who needs the Away hardshell and Hinomoto wheels to survive the brutal treatment of baggage handlers? Or, the ultimate overpacker, the wedding guest, the soft-shell loyalist who needs the Travelpro's forgiving volume and magnetic tracking?
This raises an important question, really.
The technical specs describe these modern bags as virtually unbreakable. They are aggressively tested to survive hundreds upon hundreds of flights, dropped from heights, and built to withstand massive cargo impacts. If luggage engineering in 2026 has become so incredibly advanced, so hyper-resilient that these bags can withstand thousands of miles of intense physical abuse, will our suitcases eventually outlast our own physical ability to travel?
Oh, wow. That is a fascinating, almost haunting perspective on durability.
Right. Picture it. Decades from now, long after we've stopped sprinting through terminals, long after our knees decide they're completely done with European cobblestones, these bags will just be sitting quietly in our closets. Permanent, completely indestructible time capsules of our adventuring years, silently holding on to the scuffs and scratches of trips we can barely even remember.
That is profound.
It's something to think about the next time you are packing a bag for a new adventure. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the engineering of travel. We'll see you next time.